under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dana, would you roll call, please?
Councilmember White? Here. Councilmember Cook?
Here.
Councilmember Farrelly?
Here.
Councilmember Osborne? Councilmember Thomas?
Here. I make a motion to excuse Linda. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Go to presentations.
Yeah, could I'd like to go ahead and make a motion that we add an item to the presentation. It's the Blue Heron Award, and I'd like to make a motion to do that.
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I want to do a presentation I've been waiting to do since June. And this is the Blue Heron Award for, what was it, Chris Gomez. So thank you for being here tonight, Chris. So I'd like to read my letter. The Blue Heron Award is presented to Chris Gomez in appreciation of his outstanding service and dedication to the city of Algona. Chris has been an instrumental force in fostering community functions throughout our city, truly embodying the spirit of togetherness and support that defines us. As one of the first volunteer drivers for the Community Transit Program, he selflessly dedicated his time and energy to ensure that residents had access to vital transportation services. His willingness to lend a hand is legendary. He's always the first to reach out to someone in need, showcasing his deep commitment to helping others. One of the notable contributions in his involvement in the development of the Algona Pacific Domestic Task Force. He played a key role in organizing the Purple Light Nights 5K fundraising event, where he and Danielle whipped up a delicious pasta spread and fed over 100 participants. This act not only nourished those in attendance, but also strengthened the bonds within our community. Currently serving as a planning commissioner, Chris has invested countless hours in working on a comprehensive plan, ensuring that our city grows, evolves in ways that benefit us all. For many years, he's been an active voice in our community, advocating issues that matter to all of us. His unwavering dedication is something we can never thank him enough for. Thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you. I don't think I deserve it, but that you more than deserve it. I've been waiting for a long time for this. Well, I've been trying to be here, but certain things happen. So thank you.
Next presentation will be the third quarter finance report.
All right. So in your packets, you'll see the third quarter treasurer's report and budget position. I'll be going over any significant variances through third quarter, and if there's any questions along the way, feel free to stop me. All right, so your first page of your packet is the fund totals. This shows our current cash balance in our funds. The second page is your account totals. Some things to keep in mind. Every penny is designated to a fund, and the way you know that is your fund totals and your account totals, that ending number matches. This is just, I haven't said that in a while, so I thought I'd bring it back up. So whenever Dana's double checking my reconciliation every month, she looks at the treasurer report and makes sure the ending amount and the adjusted balance amount matches. So again, your account totals and your fund totals. So you look at the ending balance is $5,741,000. You look at the account totals ending $5,741,000. All right. Moving on to general fund. This is your revenues so far. Well, I should say through third quarter. We're 80% of our projected revenues. We did receive some grant funding for work done last year, so this is pretty high. but we are on track to either meet or exceed our revenues for the year. Next, we have our general fund expenses. Generally, we like to see 75% of our budget through the third quarter. Right now, we're sitting about 90%. I've mentioned in our previous updates that we do have some budget amendment items that we need to take care of, which we do have scheduled for our first review for council at our next meeting. There's a number of factors to get us here. So under budgeted court-related costs, which we're hoping to have an answer to the $110,000 court bill, and be able to address that with our budget amendment. The necessary IT transition costs we had at the beginning of the year. As you know, we had to transition away from Auburn. We also needed a new RMS system to get away from Auburn. Those costs need to be accounted for in a budget amendment. Let's see. We also had some unexpected building maintenance that needed to be done. We had to get a new air compressor for our air conditioning in this building. They were actually just here today because there was another issue with it. We also had some elevator work done. That was unexpected. We are adding back the code enforcement permit tech position. We originally budgeted for code enforcement to be handled by the police department for this year to kind of help our general fund savings. We needed someone focused on it, so we added that back in. We also had additional police overtime for extra patrols and off-duty work. This is reimbursed, but we have to still put it in the budget amendment to account for that. So you'll see an increase in revenues for that extra work and an increase in expenses. There's also, I noticed some of our lines, like our legislative line is at 96%. I went in and looked at some of those details. Clerical errors, it does need to get moved within general fund. Bottom line, 89% is accurate, but there are some adjustments that need to be made department-wise. Are there any questions? If you have any questions about particular lines, I can go into more detail for you. We do have a big agenda, so I didn't want to go too deep, but. Street fund, this one also looks scary. Ellington overlay did not get completed until this year. It was supposed to get done last year, so the budget amendment will cover those final TIP related Ellington overlay costs. Again, this is covered by TIP, so it is reimbursed. Okay, stormwater. We're looking at 86% of our expenses so far. John's keeping a close eye, but we have done a lot of work on Cherry Park as well as the north end flooding issues. We have a healthy fund balance in this, so even if we need to dip into ending fund balance, there's no concern financially on that good. But John's keeping an eye on it. Next, we have our water maintenance revenue and expenses. This is doing very well. We're sitting at 62.5%. Same with sewer. It looks really well. We have 94% of our expected revenue that's come in, and we've only expended 61%. Asset replacement fund. This is a new one I haven't really talked about, but we are going to talk about it with the budget amendment. There have been a few factors that have led to this overage. One is the Vector trailer. We purchased it last year, but we didn't pay for it until this year. Just timing wise, it did not work out very well. Flail overhead and the parks truck replacement both came out higher than what we expected for expenses. Are there any questions? Here's your budget position totals. If you were to look at that right-hand column, we are at 72.8% of our entire budget. I'm always happy to answer any questions. If you look at this, take it home, and there's something that catches your eye.
6.
Make a motion to approve the consent.
Have we approved the agenda?
Yeah.
So that would be
Item 5, sorry.
Make a motion, we approve the agenda, I'm sorry.
No, you said I did it.
Second?
I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. Is there any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those say nay. Passed. Now, proceed.
Okay. Now I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
A motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Is there any questions? Everybody take a look at it. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those say nay. Reports. Mr. White.
Yes, I attended the PICS, the SCA PICS meeting this week, and I forwarded the draft minutes to the council and administrator, and they talked about quite a few things, and that was it. I also attended the pumpkin launch, and that was very interesting, great, and I think that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. White. Mr. Cook.
I attended the pumpkin launch too. I think it went really well. Thanks everybody again for their time, efforts. Seemed like there was a lot of people there. The weather was nice for us, at least, to let that finish. So that was good. So yeah, appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I missed you. I didn't see you.
I saw you over there. Were you at the list?
Mr. Fairley.
Oh, I have no reports.
Yes, sir. Mr. Thomas.
No reports this time.
John, public works, please.
Thank you, Council. First, on my report, I have the wrong date right on the top, so it should have today's date, October 14th. On Cherry Park, we're near completion of the work that we were going to do there, including installing 3 French drains within Cherry Park to keep the flooding down. You can see earlier in the spring I took a picture, and there was a lot of water there. So we've added 3 catch basins, and this is totally funded through King County. We received the King County Flood Control District grant for the engineering of a pump station on 11th. We'll be discussing that a little bit later. And we're right now searching for engineering firms that will do the work. So we expect to get some responses on the 23rd next week. A wetland project should be finished by the end of next week. We have the railings in. We've received 5 bids for the bike path, Algona Boulevard bike path, and we'll be discussing that later. Jessica and I have been talking to the folks at FCS, who's doing a rate study right now. We have another meeting set tentatively for, I think, the end of next week. We gave them some information today. We're still waiting for the scope change for the legislative grant to buy the property on 11th. The chief is helping us with that, reaching out to Senator Claire Wilson's folks. Public Works is focusing on jetting on the storm drains and flailing the ditches. Our water remote control water system for reading meters arrived yesterday, and in the next 2 weeks they'll start installing that. We've really bolstered the drainage system along 11th, and we'll be talking about that again a little bit later. Thursday there's a meeting with the committee's meeting on our request for $600,000 for acquiring property. One is called the Scott property, and the other one is DNR property. And we're working on an interactive ArcGIS system to identify where all our water, sewer, and storm and streets are. and other utilities if we want to do that. And just cleaning up detention ponds, and we have an enhanced maintenance plan now with ecology that allows to put in for additional grants, which we have already done. That's all I have. If you have any questions.
Down Cherry Park. So the new French drain, or the new catch basins, were those the ones that they had blocks over the top of, or?
No,
did they put them on the other side of the street? Or?
Yeah, these are brand new. So we put 3 of them in, and then we also put in a French, like the French drain to pick up any water along the street, which will funnel directly into the catch basins, and then onto our main storm drain on 4th Avenue. It's tied into 4th. Should work really well.
Yeah. Well, when I was over there looking at it, they had, it looks like that's, well, I looked at the plans and this was what originally was supposed to be put in there, but it looks like nobody maintained them. And they were all overgrown with grass and plugged, and then they put blocks over the top of them, and they did all kinds of weird stuff, so. On the north side of Cherry Park there where you filled in, but it still has the open ditch. Is that gonna get filled in too, or?
The open ditch?
Yeah.
We weren't
Algona Boulevard back.
We weren't planning on it, but if we have extra funding left over, or if council and the mayor decide that we want to do that, we can certainly do that.
Well, my concern is with that being kind of a walkway to the park area. After the incident we had down the road there with the lady in the wheelchair, I just don't think we should have a halfway along an open ditch like that leading to a park.
If you tell us to do that, we will go ahead and take care of it.
That's just my thought. It's something we can discuss, I guess. I mean, I drove by it the other day when after it rained and there was water in it, and it just kind of piqued my interest.
Probably once we get our, I'm gonna talk about parking lanes,
Okay.
but once we get our, it becomes our property, because it's not our property, we're just kind of limited.
Okay.
And at this point, but yeah, I would agree that once we get that property and we extend that part, yeah, it'd be filled all the way to it. I agree with you.
Especially since we're putting in a new bike trail right alongside there, that's just gonna get a lot of use and.
It makes a lot of sense to do that.
Yes.
Absolutely. Agree.
Other than that, John, you're doing great work.
Thank you.
What does installing the new remote meter system involve?
They're going to have to come here, install it in our server room, so that, and then put an antenna on the roof to pick up all of the meters.
So nothing at the houses will happen? That's
No, no.
Okay. Thanks.
What's that, John? Chief?
Council, Mayor, good evening. Before I give my report, as you know, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so you'll be seeing officers, including myself, we're part of the Pink Patch Club. We show our support for breast cancer survivors, and I just want to acknowledge that. Everyone's probably full aware that there was a damaged bridge on 167. And I'll talk about that next, but as a result, we've seen an overabundance of commercial motor vehicle traffic coming through town. Spoke to the mayor. I've decided to do a emphasis and put some extra patrols out just focused on commercial motor vehicle traffic and educating them on what the rules of the road are in the city of Algona. One of those things, one of my officers brought to my attention, hey, I stopped one of these trucks and they had a map that was drawn by Boeing Security, sending them through town. So I contacted the head of security. They've removed all those maps and they're now sending them down C Street outside our city. They have to go, apparently some of the motor vehicles have to go up to the main gate off of O Street or 15th to get in and check in on Perimeter Road, and so they've been sending them through town with these maps. So hopefully that cuts down on the traffic. Now, the 167 bridge closure, I've attended 2 meetings so far. The 3 cities that are impacted, Auburn, Algona, and Pacific, we're gonna be meeting with WashDOT weekly about updates. The short story is it damaged the main girder of the bridge beyond repair, so they're in the process of fabricating a new girder. In the meantime, they have 2 lanes open. When they begin demolition of the current damaged main girder, they'll be going back down to 1 lane, and then they'll be replacing that main girder. From the time they receive the girder on site, they anticipate 40 days of construction. Also, 3rd Avenue below it will be completely closed so they're looking at a December 15th finish date for the bridge, or excuse me, January 15th finish date for the bridge. And so if you go down to Pacific and you try to go down there, just remember it's going to be closed that whole time. Also next week is Shakeout. It's a national earthquake awareness preparedness thing. King County, all emergency management, we always do a tabletop exercise. We, as you guys know, you've adopted our emergency management plan, and it's also been adopted by the King County Council, so we're part of their bigger regional exercise, and I'll be taking part in that as the emergency management director. Staffing and training. At this point, we're fully staffed. We have 2 people still on field training on their own in the shadow phase, and we have 1. She's about to go on the shadow phase, so we're in a good place. Knock on wood. I will point out Specialist Nash. She was working her way through college, and this year I could not adjust her hours to make it work. So she's resigning and going to be a full-time student. And she's done a very good job for us while she's here. She will be missed, but I want to recognize her achievement in a short amount of time. Sergeant Fan is currently going through patrol tactics instructor course. It's a class that's mandated by the state that we have to have an instructor on, and each officer every 3 years has to go through the approved patrol tactics class, which is 72 hours of training on patrol tactics and de-escalation. So we also have 2 people going to a class, but once we have Sergeant Fan back, we'll be doing our own in-house training. Upcoming events, of course, next week, Alpac trunk or treat. This year, the A-Team's theme is going to be pirates and pirate ships. So you might see my pickup truck decked out as a pirate ship. But we're going to go all out as we do every year and have a good showing. Also, not too early to start reminding people of Operation Blue Christmas. We already have some money in the till, and then we've already reached out to the school district about getting some names and those. One thing that's not on my report, I don't like talking about myself, but this week I got elected the president of the small coalition of small police agencies. So it's a 2-year term. I'll be responsible for the coalition for the next 2 years. And then I don't want to steal the mayor's thunder, but I just want to take a point of personal privilege to say it was an honor to go down to the county council and to be recognized for the city of Algona to be recognized at a county council meeting. They did a proclamation. I thought it was really great. First time in my career I got to take part in one of those. And then lastly, I know we've already recognized him, but I'll be honest with you, I've been here since 2009, and I've not seen a more dedicated person to Algona to volunteer their time for good causes and to work hard than Mr. Gomez. And I just want to say, personally want to say thank you to him, and I much appreciate it. Other than that, I'll stand for any questions. Yes, sir.
First thing up, did you hear anything about a SCA PICS signature chief of police?
The one I sent you,
kind of thing?
One for the police chief. I sent you a copy, asked you to review it.
Oh, I haven't reviewed it yet.
Okay.
reason
I've been
I-
going over, it's my Monday, so I go over the budget on Mondays.
I was just wanted to point out to you, or find out if you, that's my.
No, I'll review it and I'll email you back, Councilmember White.
Okay.
I got that total this morning. Thank you.
Yeah, I apologize, it's just, I have, on Monday, I have a routine.
No, that's fine. And the next question I have to ask you is about the tolling on 167.
I'm glad you asked me that. So that begins, and we talked about this in our meeting with Washtenaw, and we brought it up, and they're supposed to be, we're not gonna advertise for them. They need to be doing the education. But in the area where the bridge is damaged, they have delayed the tolling. Now, north of 15th Street Northwest, or Southwest, the tolling will begin on October 20th, my birthday. But anyway, happy birthday to me, and now I gotta buy one that's good to go passes. But anyway,
You still have
The
to.
question I have is, they're going from one and one, you know, a driver and one to a driver and two on the HOV lane. Sorry, if I didn't make- No, that's gonna be in 167 too, from what I understand.
no, it's just normal hot lane rules. It's not, they're not changing the HOV thing.
You're gonna have to buy a good to go pass.
Yes, you're gonna have to buy a good to go pass, just like you would going from Bellevue to Bothell.
If you already have a high occupancy, like a person, right, you still have to have a good to go.
Yes.
Right, yes,
I was reading something
But you can turn
that
that
said
on.
that you could get a free good to go pass between now, if you get online to good to go, you can get a free pass.
correct.
But if you wait until after the 20th, you go to. get
You gotta
a pass,
pay.
they're gonna Charge you whatever it is, so.
Correct, that's correct.
My daughter brought that up to me about 2 or 3 months ago, and I immediately went online and ordered, and I got 3 free ones. And it's exercised itself because she was going back and forth across the bridge, the Narrows Bridge, and it works. So anyway, just wanted to tell you.
Yeah, there should be some education coming out. Washtenaw had assured us. We're gonna meet on a weekly basis till the bridge is done.
But
But
that's
what-
only 6 days now.
I know.
Anyway, thanks.
Yep.
So, thank you guys. Jessica, do you have anything besides to report?
Yeah, I do have a few things. Just a reminder, we have Sip and Stitch on Wednesdays from 5 to 7. We have a pretty good crowd that shows up. Coffee, tea, snacks. We also have a special session coming up on the 22nd where you can bring your own sweatshirt or shirt, and then we have some fall related, even Halloween related fabric, so you can do some iron on stuff, or it's like decorate your own sweatshirt kind of thing. Mini Makers is doing great. It's every Thursday at 5 o'clock here in the community center. Please save the date for the Wetland Preserve grand opening. It's going to be November 7th at 2 o'clock. I'll have formal invites sent out to council, hoping by Wednesday. But keep an eye out. I'm gonna send an email, and I'd like to do printed invites as well. Lego night this Friday at 6 o'clock. Teenagers are welcomed. But it is an adult-focused Lego class. So,
Okay, what is,
what is it?
yeah,
I don't know if you've ever heard Bricks for Kids, but there's also Bricks for Biz, and they do adult and senior workshops for Lego building. So they bring like a bucket of Legos, and they show you how to build certain things.
I already know how to build Lego.
Yes.
I mean, I've got the complete Star Wars collection, so.
Well, you should come, and then you can help people who have a hard time with it. But it's supposed to be a good time. We already got a handful of people showing up.
You're up to Duplos.
That'd be awesome. Other than that, junior ambassadors, you may have seen them at the pumpkin launch. They've been really pushing for promoting the program. They will also be at Trunk or Treat. They are actually going to take the Ford Escape and decorate it on behalf of the city. They're going to do minions. They were super excited to come up with something. So if you're by City Hall on Monday, they'll be getting all the stuff ready. Great group of kids. They've really hit the ground running. Other than that, any questions?
Thank you, Jessica. As you guys know, the I'm on the AWC, SCA board of directors. And we now have an SCA legislative committee. AWC handles the state legislature, has a SCA legislature. We're gonna work with King County to legislate for the 38 cities. I've been trying to put together a monthly mayor's video update, and now, after trying to find somebody to help me, the class at Riverside is going to help me, so I'll start to meet with them weekly. Advisory committee met on October 8th, and then I included a copy of our agenda so that you guys can take a look and see what we talk about and do at that meeting. If there's any questions, please contact me on that. I've also included in your packet the Cherry Park land acquisition letter. I provided you with a copy of the letter to the owners to start the discussion about acquiring the Cherry Park property. And I'm seeking council approval to proceed with sending the letter to the residents. So if you guys would look that over and with the council meeting, I'll ask you to send. Basically, we need to get that land so we can become ours, so we can put a park in over there. And then this will be the last live broadcast of our workshops at the council meetings. We will be recording the sessions through the system that was installed when the building was built. So there's a camera up there and there's a microphone there. And it works very well. We've tested it, provides a view of all attendees, allowing you to hear and see who is speaking. Unfortunately, the meetings cannot be simulcast either on YouTube or Zoom. And we will be downloading and put the meetings up on the city's website. I did check with a bunch of other cities, and that's what they do. They have the meetings, they download them, and put them on the website. Do you have any questions for me?
You just want us to read this and give you our thoughts on it?
Yes.
Okay.
Just like to have your basically blessing to go ahead and look for making that purchase.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Any other questions? Let's move on to audience participation. The City Council encourages public participation during meetings of the City Council and welcomes your comments. Time is set aside for you to speak to the City Council on any issue. The Council ordinarily takes on non-agenda matters under advisement before taking action. You are also invited to comment on action items as they are considered during the meeting. Individual speakers will be limited to 3 minutes each in addressing the City Council. When addressing the City Council, please speak clearly and audibly and state your name and address for the record. Is anybody here would like to make a comment? Yes, Mr. Gomez.
Christopher Gomez, 527 Main Street. Chief's pretty much covered everything on the first half of the page here about trucks. It seems to be, you're right, they are coming a lot this way from the south to the north. But lately, there's been a lot of north and south. And then today, for sure, there was 2 Boeing trucks. Actually, 2 of their personal trucks and another truck on their trailer going northbound. So wherever they came from, I don't, maybe the south gate. Car speed has been a lot, increasing more and more on Main Street. I've had a lot of opportunity to stay out the window and watch it go by. And that seems to be all day long now. The other thing is we have somebody riding, it must be an adult riding a mini bike up and down the street on the weekends. You probably know about that.
Is it loud?
Very loud. You
Yeah.
can hear it coming from
We actually took action on that. He's from Pacific.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And there's a green GM product, I'm not sure, it's in the late 90s. I don't know if it's a Tahoe or a Yukon. And they come by southbound early in the afternoon around 4, and in the evening going back just before 5 o'clock. But that base is so trimmed so much that it actually rattles the windows in the home. So I don't know if anybody else has complained about it. they, last, 2 weeks ago, there was side by side riding around on the weekend, so you probably know about that too. Is there the rule, you have that, electric bike speed? Does that also fall in the, for those lawnmowers, electric lawnmowers?
Electric what? Lawnmowers?
They call them lawnmowers, they're like a skateboard, but they're. probably-
Yes, it's covered in our ordinance.
'Cause there's a
They're
couple-
prohibited.
There's a couple of them right down here
Yep.
going from the north to the south. And I don't care about them, but they don't even wear a helmet, you know? There's a lot of kids out there today. My wife has a lot of issues about them riding. Why would you let your kid out there riding a bike without a helmet? And I know we have bike rodeo, and I know you probably give out helmets, so.
So I don't know about the helmet specifically, that's not covered in our code, but the use of them on sidewalks and city streets is prohibited in Algona.
Okay.
Yep. And just to clarify, there are 3 classifications of electric bikes. And anything that goes basically anything that goes faster than 30 miles an hour is considered a motorcycle, electric motorcycle.
And then I brought this up probably around June before I had my time away. Sorry for being in trouble. We talked about the water lines. I have a water line that doesn't belong to my home, that runs from Main Street underneath my property and then the house directly behind me on Algona Boulevard. So I addressed that issue and I haven't heard anything back yet. If that water line bursts and creates a sinkhole underneath my home or in my property, who's responsible for that?
John, you answer that?
I'm sorry, no, I can't answer it right now, but I can look into it and find an answer for you, Mr. Gomez.
The only reason I brought this up because a few months back, they had a main line broke and was flooding my yard, and then you guys came out and fixed it. So that's when I found out that line goes directly under my property and into the property behind me, which seems to be no sense to that one, but we'll go with what had happened prior.
Yeah, if there's an easement or something, you'd have to take a look if that person has an easement even. I don't know.
You can look at that.
Yeah, I've got it written down.
And I want to thank the Regional Valley Fire Department for responding quickly on that other thing that happened 2 weeks ago. I think without them being here in that quick time, I probably would be talking to them. So I appreciate everything they do. I just want to thank you.
I'll make sure to pass that on.
Okay. You and my wife will appreciate it. And that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Gomez. Cheryl, do you have anything?
No, thank you for asking.
Let's move on to discussion items. Item A, ordinance number 1264-25, 2026 property tax.
All right. So Miss Tara decided she's gonna be here anyways at the next council meeting. We do this every year, so she felt, if you have any questions, you can always ask her at the next meeting. So she's not here tonight. But this is your first read of the 2026 property tax levy. It is at the max amount of 1%, maximum allowable increase of 1%. So the total dollar increase would equal $7,189. Is there any immediate questions?
Could you repeat that number?
Yeah.
Total increase.
So dollar increase equals $7,189.
This is revenue for the city.
Right, I missed that first part, I keep missing that first part.
Oh, 7,000?
Only 7,000.
Yeah, so the 1% comes out to 7,000.
It's definitely citywide, right? Citywide.
Right.
Just
That's
correct.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the total revenue that comes into the city.
Yeah.
$3.58 for $485,000 house, is that what this is saying?
Yes.
The raise your taxes that much, I think. $3.58.
Move on to item E, resolution 1304-25, King County Flood District Grant Agreement.
What I thought would be better to do is show you some pictures of what we want to accomplish. We received a $330,000 grant from King County. Some of it actually pays for. Yeah. So, like I said, I thought it would be easier to show you pictures what we want to accomplish. The $330,000 is for engineering of a pump station. So, just to recap, the first page shows the picture of the house that we want to acquire and some of the flooding issues in the surrounding area. On the second page, the yellow line is what we have done so far this year. We've repaired the berm. We've raised it at least 2 feet, if not more, to keep the water from breaching into our property from the Algona ditch. And we're pretty contained now, so all we have to do is, unless we have a severe flooding event, we have to pump the water to where that little red circle is. And from there, there's an underground storm drain that goes directly to the 400 ponds of Auburn. So we've got a good basis going forward for this year, but that's not a good long-term strategy. So the long-term strategy is on the next page, and this is what we're asking an engineering firm to help us with, is the design of a pump station at that property. We would demo that property and then pump that water directly into the 167 ditch. And there's some backflow prevention that'll have to be done for larger events. The pump station would consist of 2 smaller pumps, 600 gallon per minute low head pumps. And then it will have a connection for a larger diesel pump, an 8-inch diesel pump that can be kept at the shop. And if we get a large flood event, we can bring it there and start it up. That keeps the costs down to a reasonable level. And we want to get this plan done, completed before May of next year, so that we can apply for a King County grant to build the pump station. So that's what we want to do. That's just background information, and this is the first review. Anybody have any questions? And it's fully funded. There's no dollars coming out of the city for this. And in fact, there'll be dollars coming in for some of our equipment and our labor as well.
Item C, resolution 1303-25, awarding bid for the Algona Boulevard non-motorized improvement project.
So just a heads up for council, this is slightly different than what I sent out in the package last Friday in the email. I'll let John explain, but something came up with the lowest bidder, so.
Yeah, thank you. So we had received 5 different bids for the work on Algona Boulevard, and the lowest bid didn't meet the requirements, and so we had to go to the second lowest bid. This has all been kind of approved through TIB as well. They know it's going to cost a little bit more than the lowest bid, and they're on board, and they actually recommend that we go with the second lowest bid. That was $457,458. It's below the engineering estimate of $506,900. And that'll be concrete curbing. It's the the lane will be 12 feet wide, so we can get a street sweeper down there as well. And there'll be no parking on the west side of Algona Boulevard. So this will go from Ellingston all the way, it'll go from Fifth Avenue South all the way to Boundary.
Are you gonna utilize that sidewalk that is already installed on the Algona Boulevard, just on 8th? Or is that section of sidewalk the development is required to build as part of this, as a development? So are they gonna utilize that as part of that, or are they just gonna go straight through and include that part as well?
There was no intent to remove any sidewalk, if that's what you're asking.
Instead of creating sidewalks there, are you gonna, or instead of putting the
Curbing
border
out.
out, curbing out from the sidewalk, are we gonna utilize that sidewalk? I thought we were.
We walked that section with the gentleman from
Gray and Osborne, yeah.
Osborne, and he said just leave it because we have enough shoulder there to do the path and just leave it.
No, I understand you're gonna leave the sidewalk, you're not gonna utilize that sidewalk as part of it.
No, that's not part of this, no. Oh, yeah, sorry. There's one other thing that I forgot to bring up, is we'd like to try to get this approved during the next council meeting. That would only give us 2 reviews, because it would be good to get this project up and going before it gets, the weather gets too bad. As it is, we may not be able to get it all done because of the striping. We might not be able to do the striping this year. Might have to wait when the weather's better in the spring.
Yes, Mr. Gomez.
When you take 12 feet off the west side of the Algona Boulevard, you won't be able to park on the east side because you just narrowed it down by 12 feet.
I believe it's still 11 feet, the 2 lanes plus the parking on the other side.
Okay.
There's room there, Chris.
Gray and Osborne has a set of drawings we could get to you if you wanted to take a look through that.
No, I know a normal car is about 6.5 feet wide, just say 6.5 feet wide with the mirrors. And you're gonna take another 6 feet, which would put you pretty much in the middle of the lane now. And then you're gonna have to move that another, 8 feet over?
It wasn't quite that, but it was, we do have to move the line over. That's why we didn't stripe it this year.
Well, I understand that, but
Yeah.
what I'm saying is it just seems that your 12 feet is huge. I can understand that, you need to have it. But it just seems like you're moving the street further over to the east side of Algona Boulevard. And I don't know, I can tell you right now, you're gonna have a lot of put out with the people who live on 8th. And then you turn around and when you squeeze it over there, there's people who park over there, and they park fairly large pieces of equipment. And I don't know, it just seems to kind of narrow down the street a whole lot. I don't know how wide that street is, but what is it, 50 feet across?
I'll have to get the exact numbers. Gray and Osborne did all the calculations, but I'm happy to provide those drawings for the next meeting. Or maybe Jessica can send that out for council review prior to the meeting.
That was my question, because I had asked before about drawings to see what we were getting. I haven't seen them yet.
If you'd like, during the meeting, I can go get them, and if we wanted to bring them up.
I would appreciate that.
Okay. Beyond that, is there anything else that?
No, I'd like to see the drawings before that.
Do you want to second touch the workshop?
Do it at the workshop and then final passage at the council meeting, so it'll just be on the agenda for the workshop.
You guys are gonna look at it.
Did you want to look at it at the workshop, or would you like me to go get them now, print them out?
I wouldn't mind looking at them now, in case I have questions.
Can we
for the workshop.
do this, since, let's get through the meeting, and then if you guys wanna stay and look at it after the meeting,
Okay,
that work?
yeah, and then if we put this on the workshop for the next agenda, and then we can, we are second touch, and then we can approve it at the meeting.
Okay. That works all for you. Perfect. Let's move on to item D is ordinance number 125925, permanent support in transitional housing.
All right, you may have remembered last meeting we had the public hearing as well as John Greenwood from EJ Municipal doing a presentation on this ordinance. The ordinance proposes to amend chapter 2248. During the 2021 regular season, the state of Washington passed a House bill, 1220, relating to emergency shelters, transitional housing, and permanent supportive housing. Under this bill, the city must not prohibit permanent supportive housing or let me make sure I say this right, transitional housing units in any zone that allows for residential development. The bill went into effect July 21, and our comprehensive plan contains the goal of developing transitional and permanent supportive housing code. Has there been any questions on this since the last presentation?
Item E is ordinance number 1260-25, development, regulation, consistency analysis.
All right, so this is another one we just had a public hearing on at the last meeting, and John Greenwood presented on. It proposes to amend AMC 1204, complete streets policy, 1302 water service, 1318 use of public sewers, 1346 stormwater management regulations and requirements, 1522 grading and filling of land, 1904 general, 2208 definitions, 2232 light industrial district, 2233 land use table, in order to meet requirements of RCW 3670A to align our development regulations with the Algona comprehensive plan. Should I say that again? Just kidding.
Yeah, I didn't catch that middle part.
All right, a development regulation consistency analysis was performed after the adoption of the 2024 comprehensive plan, and the proposed changes were discovered. I should say too that Planning Commission has reviewed both of these ordinances and worked with our planners on them. So if there's any additional questions that have come up.
Item F is ordinance 1261-25, amending AMC 5.06, business and occupation tax.
All right, I feel like Tara and I hit you guys hard with this at the last meeting. I also talked about it with Finance Committee just a couple weeks ago. But right now, our code has our B&O tax rate at 0.0451% across the board. So manufacturing, retail, wholesale, you name it, is at 0.0451%. In researching other jurisdictions, we're quite low, one of the lowest in the state. Our surrounding jurisdictions are double at 0.1%. So we are proposing increasing it to the 0.1% to match our surrounding jurisdictions. This would bring in about $250,000 extra every year to our general fund. As you know, that is pretty big with our current budget situation, so. Yeah, do you want a couple examples of what it would look like? So, if a taxpayer pays $8,000 a quarter, they would now pay $16,000 a quarter. That is on the high side. That is like one of our bigger companies. I want to say names because it's taxpayer data, but as another example is a restaurant here in town pays $450 a quarter, so then it would be $900 a quarter. Any questions?
No, I have no problem with it. I don't mind if you double mine. It's not that big of a. It's a good form of revenue, and we're not out of line. What is it, Canada rented is 0.2.
Yeah, and Pacific actually just updated theirs to 0.2.
So. Yeah, 0.1 is, I think, is reasonable.
Let's move on to item G, ordinance number 1262-25, public safety, 0.1% sales and use tax.
Okay, I believe there's, we're gonna ask you to waive the three-touch rule on this. We talked about it last council meeting because there's a timeline of tomorrow for us, if you guys decide to vote on this tonight, that get it to the Criminal Justice Training Commission. The deadline's close of business tomorrow, that we've adopted it. But essentially, House Bill 2015, and I don't know if you've been paying attention to the papers, there's a lot of talk about it. Seattle passed their increase today, a majority of the jurisdictions, but what it allows us to do is to collect an extra 0.1% on our sales tax for public safety purposes. And so I will leave it to Tara and Jessica to come up with the ballpark figure of what that would generate. What I do know, looking at the numbers earlier, that we have to take some pressure off the general fund, and being 49% of the general fund, I'm actually 49.2% PD, which is below the national average. Most national, the national average is around 65-70% of a general fund for jurisdiction for public safety. I still am cognizant of the dollar, and we need to make sure that we're being good stewards of that dollar. At the same time, we have to provide a level of service. And so I would ask you tonight, we're asking them to waive it, or is it up for passage?
Somebody has to make a motion to move it from discussion items to ordinance and resolutions.
Yeah, I don't believe it matters where it is on the agenda, the council can still make a motion.
So somebody make a motion to waive the three-touch rule.
I make a motion to waive the three-touch rule on 1265-25.
I'll second.
The motion and the second to waive the three-touch rule on ordinance number 1262-25. Any other questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those say nay.
Now we go down to council, resolutions and ordinances. Should be attached.
You can go ahead and pass it now if you want.
Somebody wants to make a motion to pass it.
So you'll see attached, Zach did prepare this. This is a final draft of an ordinance, and with which code section it goes into. I've had several communications with Zach. It also, House Bill 2015 also requires us to meet certain requirements. As I stated last council meeting, and again, I will state for the record, we meet all those other requirements as I read the statute. Now, I am aware today, to be full transparency, there's two larger jurisdictions that submitted their paperwork quite early before the requirements, some of the requirements by the Criminal Justice Training Commission came out to access grant funding. And that's the big thing about this. Those of you that remember, the governor got $100 million toward law enforcement in this biennium, 50 this session, this year and 15 million next year. And in order to leverage those funds, we have to pass this increase. That being said, I'm fully aware of at least two larger jurisdictions that got ahead of the game and submitted their paperwork for those grants, and it's looking like they're not going to meet their requirements. But again, what we did in place, I met with CJTC, and they're like, hold off, we're going to be publishing a pamphlet, follow the rules, it should be fine, James. And so that's the approach we're taking. So if you've heard some scuttlebutt, use a Navy term, otherwise, I'm very familiar with it. But again, my personal recommendation is to pass this, and so we can move forward.
Well, we do that when we get down there, right? We still got other things about that. Isn't that 12A?
It's still on as a discussion. Council has the authority to make motions at any point during the agenda. So if you wanted to make a motion now.
To move it down. Or make a motion to approve.
I don't see that in discussion.
It's item G. 1262-25.
So what's 125825? That's something different. Gotcha. Okay. All right.
Okay, I'll make a motion, we approve ordinance 1262-25.
I have a motion and a second to approve ordinance 1262-25. Are there any more questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Passed. I'll take the letter of intent for Marvel Billy, which is a new business. I've been working closely with Marvel Billy since last spring. And I get in the packet. This is a letter that Zach wrote, intent for them to purchase the land where the old transfer station is. What I'm looking for, since you guys haven't seen this, maybe look over it and use this retouchable read through it. Basically, what it's saying is it doesn't commit us to anything, doesn't really commit him to anything, but it does say you can't do privatization if you're interested.
Can I add on to it?
Yes.
Okay, so this is only if council deems it as surplus property. So if there is no public use that council sees fit, it's surplus property, then we can go ahead and sell it. Marvel has expressed interest in being the one to buy it if we decide it's surplus. So this letter of intent doesn't bind council to this transaction in any way. It only says, yes, if we decide it's surplus, we would consider you a buyer.
There's no hindrances on the title because we did a title check. Nothing says that we have to put a park there, nothing in here says we have to do it.
And I am gonna do one little disclosure, because Zach will be mad at me. It is the city's intent that all applicable requirements and procedures will be complied with when it comes to acquisition, use, and potential disposition of property. So make sure I say that.
Gotta do the Zach voice too.
Oh, sorry. I don't really want to do it again.
Are there any questions?
So if we have somebody else that is interested, that might do something that we feel that is a benefit for the city, then we could go that way. We're not bound. I mean,
Offer more with it, yeah.
you know, because I mean, I read that, you know, they're planning on doing this as restaurant, retail, and housing. I mean, that sounds like,
Exactly what we want.
right, but you never know who else might come along that.
We might want to go to casino.
I We get more money for a casino.
That thing is legally binding with this letter.
Yeah, you're good. No, so, I guess he can't move forward. He's already spent several thousands of dollars. If he can go forward and do more, if he has this letter. He needs to, show his bank or whoever, so. And it's gonna be probably 12 to 18 months after they start the new transportation, so we're talking 2028 anyway.
That's gonna take me a year to
Yes,
clean it up over there.
this was white.
Has anybody ever been to that place, the current one?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, park, it's so busy, yeah. Park, James was just over there.
There's no parking.
Marble.
Yeah, just very little. Anyway, any other questions? That's really good. Ordinance and resolutions, there's no whole business. Ordinance and resolutions, ordinance number 1258-25, amending the Algona Municipal Code 14.0.
Any questions or moving the comp plan?
I make a motion that we approve ordinance 1258-25, amending the Algona Municipal Code 14.08.
I'll second.
I have a motion in a second to approve ordinance number 1258-25, amending the Algona Municipal Code 14.08. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. And then we discussed at the next workshop, we're going to discuss further the walking bicycle track.
We will also have SCA coming in to do a presentation.
Mr. Mayor,
Anything else for good of the order? Are we at that point, sir?
I have the drawings that I can hand out. The travel lanes are 11 feet. The bike path is 12 feet, and the parking on the other is 7'9" feet.
Currently, where the lanes puts down,
I
they
believe,
gotta be greater than 11 feet.
yeah, they're like 12 feet right now. Yeah.
Without further ado, I'll adjourn the meeting. We still have questions about this. We'll have a meeting over this.
As long as we don't have a forum, asking questions.